Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Cleveland. I'm with Boundary Stone, and we're trying to help you navigate your way through what's often a very confusing world. Today, I'd like to talk with you a little bit about something that's called Say's Law. It was articulated by a French economist, classical economist, Jean-Baptiste Say, and it goes like this. The kind of the euphemism, if you've taken an econ class, you might have heard it this way, that supply creates its own demand. And that's really could be very confusing. And that's really not exactly what Say had in mind. What Say had in mind is simply this, that whatever you are engaged in productively, let's say you're a farmer, well, why would you ever raise more hogs than you intend to butcher and kill for your own meat purposes? Well, the only reason you would have to do that is your intention would be to sell the surplus hogs in the marketplace to acquire money assets in order to purchase other kinds of goods and services for yourself that you can't produce on your own. And so your very action of supplying hogs in the market is an activity that's based upon your own demand for other stuff. Well, so in that sense, supply creates its own demand. Supply actually just reflects another demand, and as a consumer. Now, this is important because for a free market, Say went on to articulate that that a free market, a true free market where people are left alone and unhindered by governmental intervention, will coordinate itself. And that the activities, my productive activities and your productive activities, would tend to be coordinated with one another through the price system. Now, how will this work? Well, let's suppose that whatever I'm doing, I'm taking in, I've got to purchase resources, economic goods that I'm going to utilize and try to turn those into something I intend to sell. All right, now, so if I'm taking in resources, economic goods, I'm buying those, and I can turn them into something that I can sell at a high enough price to earn a profit, then I'm creating wealth. In other words, I'm taking resources of less value and I'm turning them into something of more value for the marketplace. And so I have every incentive to do more of that. On the other hand, if I'm buying resources and I'm making something and I cannot sell it in the market, but at a price that's at a loss, then I have every incentive, every motivation whatsoever to quit doing that because I'm taking the more valuable and I'm turning it into the less valuable. And so market incentives of private individuals are a sufficient reason to coordinate our activities with one another and direct us in ways that are mutually beneficial. And that's why market prices are really important. We may talk about that one at another time. Now, in the 1930s, an Englishman, John Maynard Keynes, tried to take issue with this. Keynes came in and said, no, that's not the way the free market works. As actually in the free market, what happens is that prices are sticky for all sorts of reasons. There are union contracts and this, that, and the other. Okay, wait a second. The 1930s were hardly an era of free enterprise. Under the Roosevelt's New Deal, there were all sorts of rules and regulations, laws of every sort that hindered market performance. As a matter of fact, labor unions were granted all sorts of special legal privileges that other people didn't have. And all these sorts of things served to hinder the market, to hinder people's freedom to engage one another in ways that would be mutually beneficial, so that we should afterwards come back and say, oh, Say's law, it doesn't work. Well, Say never argued that in a market where government intervention and price fixing owned by governments is in play, that would not result in some bad things occurring. I mean, he was talking about where people are left alone. So I hope this helps you clear up a little confusion on Say's Law and many things that are going on in our own economy today. Well, I'm Dr. Paul Cleveland. It's been great to be with you today, and hope that we're helping you to navigate your way through what really is oftentimes a very confusing world.